It started almost 30 years ago as a funky little music festival in Austin, Texas. Today, South by Southwest is a sprawling showcase for new music, emerging technology, and independent film.
It's underway right now with more than 150,000 attendees expected over 10 days. And Erik Davis, the managing editor and critic for Fandango.com, is just back from Austin and joins us with a report on this year's film offerings. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
This festival gets bigger and bigger every year. What sets it apart from the others?
Well, I think the fact that you have three immensely influential festivals all happening at the same time with film, interactive, music. On the film side, you have some of Hollywood's best and brightest mingling with up-and-coming filmmakers, people who shot entire movies on an iPhone. And it's a really cool thing, you know, and that's in addition to some of the world's greatest creators, thinkers, innovators, leaders. President Obama was there for the first time at South by Southwest this year. He gave the keynote speech at the beginning of the interactive conference, and then he went to a place called Torchy's Tacos for tacos, which happens to be my favorite taco joint in Austin, so the president has good taste.
So we got so many films to go through, but before we even get to them, I got to ask you about the screening room, because it got so many headlines. So it's from the guy who did Napster, the guy who interrupted music, and the basic concept is $50, you can see a new movie in your house after you buy the set-top box, right?
Yes, yeah, for $150. And this is a really hot topic right now, especially as all these major filmmakers are coming out on opposite sides of the debate. I joke that it reminds me of the upcoming Captain America Civil War, except instead of Team Iron Man and Team Captain America, we have Team Steven Spielberg, who's got guys like J.J. Abrams, who directed Star Wars. They're for the service. They're stakeholders in the company. Then you have Team Christopher Nolan, who's against it, with guys like M. Night Shyamalan and James Cameron. Nobody's asking moviegoers, though, do you want this thing in your life? You know, I polled people on Twitter, about 300 or so people responded, 68% were against it.
You're going to pay about $50 a piece anyway if you're going to the movies.
Oh, no, you have a bunch of friends in the room and then you offset the
you could
cost,
do it that way, but then, you know, are you devaluing the theatrical experience, which I think a lot of people, you know, you want movie theaters in your life, in my opinion. I like going.
All right, you got a chance to screen about 20 new films in Austin over the past week. Talk about some of your favorites, first starting with the comedy, Don't Think Twice. What is it about?
Yeah, this was my favorite film that I saw in Austin. It's a tiny movie. It's from director Mike Birbiglia, who's a comedian, and it's about this New York City improv group who kind of, their loyalties are tested when one of them snags the dream job on a Saturday Night Live show. It's called, they call it Weekend Live. You know, Keegan-Michael Key, one half of Key and Peele, is in it. Gillian Jacobs, they're both really good. And it's kind of about how long do you chase that dream? And what happens when someone close to you snags the dream that you've been chasing? You know, it's heartfelt, it's honest, it's really funny. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's likely coming out this summer, so keep an eye out for it. Don't Think Twice.
Well, from funny to raunchy, I have to ask you about Sausage Party, because when I saw the preview for this, I was like, this is not for kids.
No, God, no, it's not for kids. Mom and Dad, please stay away from this.
It looks like it is, though, if you don't listen to the sound.
Exactly. This is like a deranged mashup of Toy Story and the Lego Movie. It takes place in a supermarket. All of the characters and the food and the product in that supermarket. Kind of like a notch above South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut in terms of the filth factor. If you've ever wanted to see your favorite food get down with a little hanky-panky, coming to theaters this August, Sausage Party.
That sounds a little kinky there. All right. Director Richard Linklater and Everybody Wants Some. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is billed as like a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, which is one of my favorite movies. I watched a lot of this film in college, and we'll leave it at that. But this is like Dazed and Confused as filtered through Animal House. So it takes place in the 1980s. It's a hangout movie about these guys. Weekend before college, they're all hanging out. It's a party film, up-and-coming cast, just like Dazed and Confused. And I would hold it beside Dazed and Confused. I really think it lives up to that film. Really fun, great soundtrack. Takes place at a time when all these different sorts of music were converging on each other. And I think this movie does a really good job at examining early hip-hop, punk, country, the end of disco. Really fun stuff.
Tell us about Hardcore Henry, which examines first-person view. I mean, it's an interesting way to shoot a whole movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, gamers are well, you know, versed in this kind of format. It's like a Call of Duty, but it's an entire movie in the first person. And yeah, a lot of stunts, a lot of crazy stuff. Not crazy about the story. I think it's a little weak, but if you're into films that do something different, that take risks in the sorts of ways that they present themselves to you, you have to see it. You know, the crowds that I saw this movie with freaked out for it. So if you're going to see it with a late night crowd, see it with a bunch of friends. I think it's pretty cool.
All right, for the sci-fi fans out there, let's talk about Midnight Special.
Yeah, this comes out this weekend, and it's pretty good. You know, it's Michael Shannon plays this father of this boy who has special powers, and they go on this road trip trying to escape from these different groups who kind of want to use the son for their own selfish purposes. Got a little Spielberg, little John Carpenter in it, and I think it speaks to this trend of emerging encouraging original sci-fi movies in the springtime. You know, Ex Machina last year, 10 Cloverfield Lane, which just came out. And I like these smaller, intimate sci-fi stories housed inside these big blockbuster ideas. They're kind of like appetizers before the summer blockbuster season. And I dug this movie. I think it's kind of cool.
Do you need movie detox after you come back? Are you done with movies for a little bit?
I need every kind of detox when I come back from South by Southwest.
Erik Davis, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.